the the bloody rock out here about that guy.
Yeah, what?
About the bloody rock out here, the red rock.
This
Lisa
is
said
Delbert.
you
This
told
is
her
Delbert
one.
Nix, and he's the head storyteller.
You told her that.
Too bad I can't hear too good.
Darren, write it down, would you? Your red light? Okay, good, it's going.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that blood on the rock out here, right across the Quad Village. That's where the Haidas live. Saquon. There was, well, the picture is right there. A lot of those houses are down, broke down, and there's quite a few houses there yet. There's some in the back. And Saquon is right across here. They were having a war. Haidas and Skeena people, Skeena River on British side, and they were getting the best of the Haidas, and they were coming in here, and this person was a Indian doctor. They call him Indian doctor, and he was the one that telling the people when they're going to invade them, and they were out scouting around Canoe Bay here. The chief always sent so many canoes out, scouting around for spies that's spying on them. So they run into them out there at Natkwa. Haida call it Naakwa, but in English, Natkwa. They were coming from there, and this Indian doctor told them that they were going to catch up with them to start home. Well, when they caught up with them right down here at Sultry Point, so they were trying to get home. When they saw the canoes coming behind that one, all the people that's living in there went into the woods. And that Indian doctor told him, don't go for the village, he says. Don't go for the village. And this Indian doctor was telling them where to go. Finally, they were so close. The Indian doctor jumped in the water, but he was running on top of the water. That's how strong her medicine was. When the war canoe caught up with him, he jumped overboard, but he was running on top of the water. And that's why they got him with a spear when he jumped. That's why that point across that village is red. the rock is red. That's where they spilled his blood, the Indian doctor. That's one story.
That's a good one. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys, can you not move around while he tells us stories?
Yeah.
What's your Indian name?
Huh?
What do you have an Indian name?
My Indian name?
Mm-hmm.
Ani.
Anii. You guys say that. Anii. All right. And where are you originally from?
From, let me tell the stories about that. See, we came across from nobody knows when, from Graham Island, from Master BC, and we landed in Cape Nizam. That's where we landed, and all the weather changed on it, and south northwest wind. Some got to Cape Nizam. Well, there was more coming behind. They made it to Cape Nizam. And those that was coming behind, they made their trips all right. But Cape Nizam was a big village after the Graham Island people moved in. That's where we really come from, Canada. And things wasn't running right in the village, you know. So they divided, they separated. So that one bunch, I don't know where they get tools to carve out canoes, but a lot of the old people, I talked to quite a few of them quite a while ago. They figured they got across on driftwood, you know, paddles. They made paddles to go across on the driftwood. They had tough time, and they finally got into Cape Nizam. There was a big village there. When I was young, there was a lot of buildings there, houses, you know, like that, up there. That was a big village right across here. They had hard time getting across. But as times went by, when the Spaniards sailed into McLeod Bay, that's where when they got tools from there, and they gave them things to eat. And the cook for the ship, you know, give them rice. And this head man said, don't touch that, don't touch that. And he thought it was magnets. You know, magnets that gets into
Ooh, 20 of this.
but it was rice. Sack of rice. They show them how to cook it too. No. They've given him a lot of stuff, tools. That's how come they start making canoes. The Spaniards gave them tools, axes. There's a lot of things they taught them too, you know. How to cook this, how to cook that. When they started across, the weather changed on him. So a lot of them went clear up to Canoe Pass. That's how they got inside. They've had hard times. That I told this quite a few times now. That place there, you still can see where they killed the Indian doctor because the rock is red there. Guys, sometimes when they have a chance, take a picture, and there's a lot of pictures being taken of that. And then when the Indian doctor died, they put him right there above that red rock. They picked a place for him when he died. It says when he told the people, when you come to see me, he says, after you, people fixed me up so I could lay there. I'll be watching over you people. It says, put my hand here so you all can see my fingers. If one of the fingers are gone, move from the camp. Move somewhere where you can't be seen. Move to where there's place to get grub and stuff. They moved to Canoe Pass. Haida's call it Yáahl K'ayk. Canoe Pass right over here. That's where when they used to send a couple of men out all the time. Skeena people and us. They never got along. So that's how they were when they came over. They had a hard time. Nobody knew how they got across. Some older people from the older people told me that they got seal stomach, you know, and blow it up. Just like using water wings. They blow it up and spin. But nobody knows how they got across. That's the end of the story now. Now who's going to tell me a story?
Who's going to tell him a story?
Jamie knows.
On his canoe and high tide come out here. This was a big tent city. Just want us to see it. It was a tent, and there was a lot of hiders in. A lot of But that flu got a lot of it. Killed off about half the Haidas. And then they didn't have no medicine. They got their own kind of medicine. But those kind of diseases are hard to cure. What my grandfather used to make, used to boil Delbert. Boil it so long, after it boils down so much, he puts it in containers. And he used to make us drink that when everybody's getting sick, I think that used to help. That's the only thing that I knew the Hydas used to make medicine out of.
What was skugum root?
Uh,
Skugum root? Skugum root? They use
oh,
that?
yeah. Yeah. Too bad I can't hear. There was a lot of Indian villages, Haida villages. There's Tinbon down here, and Haida, Salzer Inlet, and then Cape Mizan. They claimed there was over 1,000 Haidas there living there in Cape Mizan. But the flu, when the flu hit, a lot of no medicine. There's a place we call Canoe Pass here. Haidas call it Yáahl K'ayk. In those days when we were young, they used to plant their own potatoes, cabbage, onions. Nowadays, the kids don't even know how to do anything like that. You guys will have to start teaching them. Someday they want to get hungry. Oh, they used to go around cheap Yeltatzie. They used to, when they landed in Cape Mizan, they used to send out 4 canoes to look over the country. And when they come back, you never see nobody, no human. They go there, icy straits. And they turn back from there. But Colin Jeff and Kate used to tell me if they run into them, then they'd be fighting yet. Yeah.
have any stories about that teach people how to treat each other, how to behave towards one another, or how to get food properly? You know, like how to not to waste anything. Are there stories that illustrate that?
Wait till I accept this.
Okay. We want to know if there's stories that teach people how to collect food or how to behave, how to teach you guys how to properly behave towards each other. Are there stories that teach kids or people how to behave towards one another? Or are there stories that teach people how to properly gather food so that they don't offend the animals?
Well, they had their, well, everybody has their ways, you know, all nationalities. They have different ways to live, different ways to harvest stuff, like we do. Springtime is the time to get out and wrestle for food, you know, for anything. There's a lot of ways in harvesting food to survive. If you trip over in a small, strange place, if you go ashore, there's stuff to pick up. Gumboots and what do you call those? We call them Yáahl. That's Haida's called Yáahl.
Is that octopus in English? What is it? Sea cucumbers in English.
Cucumber, yeah, cucumber. They split it, you know, grab hold of one end, take it, put your knife in the food, and deep fry it. That's the best thing you can have.
That's good.
Guys get them for her.
It's real good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can get from big tides, you know, like clams. Sea urchin. There's a lot of that around here, down this way.
Yeah.
They get pretty big too. There's a lot of things you can get to survive, you know. If you boat run into accident and you have to be on shore, you can get those things as long as you don't eat it too much of it, you know. Keep you warm. Gumboots. All the kids, they know what to get. Yeah. They used to dry everything. They hang it up, get it dry, and then to preserve it, to keep it a long time, to get a seal and get the oil out of it. And hide it. They used to have a cedar could they put it in there? You know, with it. Any kind of meat. Haida's family, he created everything. And when he was young, there was no lights. There was a moon, and these people that had it got it undercover. The moon got it undercover. Once in a while they open it nice. So the raven, turned himself into a thorn, you know, so he can float around. So that's what he did. He turned himself into where they did in the water is where he, so he could see everything. So one night he got ready. They watched his moon pretty close. And while nobody is looking, he turned himself back to where he was, grabbed that moon, and took off. On the way out, he threw pieces up in the air. That's the stars. So what's left, throwed it up, and the world was in light. You know, the way Haida's come at it is interesting. But this way too is good. Because it took him a long time to get the moon. And there was no water. So there's a rock up there in Sumner Straits. Big rock. And there's water on that. And that's Raven. He tried in every way. Well, he was figuring he'd get there once in a while, but there's 2 eagles watching that. You had to sneak around. The rock isn't too big. There's a water hole on that. It's the only place there's water. So, one early in the morning, the herring come around and the eagle started for it. While it's down there, he took a big sea lion skin to get that water, and he flew with it. That's why there's big rivers in Wrangell. Wherever he put dump something there, dump something. That's why there's big rivers way up there on the mainland. And on Canoe Island too. That's where he got the water. He was foxy. Nowadays when I'm sitting here, once in a while, a raven would fly by. There used to be lots of ravens here. But I get older, there's no more. Once in a while, I see one fly by. That's how the mainland got their water. You know, our grandfather used to tell us about a story. As I get older, I forget. But when Ed Hamilton was alive, he'd come in, we'd talk about it, you know. So we did tell the kids. And after he died, I didn't have nobody. There was no more older people, you know, older men. There used to be quite a few people here. They used to have one school building. In a few years, it was overcrowded. And they had to build. Now, who's going to tell me a story?
Daniel, you tell him. Darren, you tell him.
Do you know my Naanaa Clara Haida storytelling? I like listening to her stories. Learning Haida stories are important to us so we know who we are. Learning Haida stories is important so we know who we are. Learning Haida stories is important so we know who we are.
4. Hit it, Darren.
Learning Haida stories is important so we know who we are.
5.
Learning Haida stories is important so we know who we are.
This is Yáahl K'ayk or Darren Edenshaw. Darren, who would you like to introduce today?
My Naanaa Clara.
This is Clara Natkong. What's your Indian name, Clara?
It means copper dressed up.
Wonderful. Some Indian names don't translate over like that. It's just like saying, well, what does Mary mean? That's great you know what yours means. I don't think I could say that. Could you say it one more time?
It's that copper.
And I'm going to show you her copper shield.
Dressed.
This is the only copper shield in Hydaburg. Her namesake. Huh? Did you press the little... That's so exciting. Okay, who taught you the stories?
The what?
The stories, the Haida stories. The
Oh,
stories about
My dad was, his name was Lou Frank.
Mm-hmm.
He was quite an orator.
Lou Frank?
And, Lou Frank, and he could tell stories all day long. But being a young girl, I used to listen. I used to love to listen to his stories, and that's how I know a lot of stories. When we were teaching here through the school system, when I used to start telling stories, Helen Sanderson used to get so excited. She said, "Where did you learn it from?" She'd ask me, Darren. Yeah, she used to get really excited that I knew so many stories. She said,
Well, I can't wait to hear some. Before we hear a story or whatever, we saw a film with, it's called The Haida Oral Tradition, Rules for Art and Society, that the school made. And I bet you've seen it because you're in it. And it has worn from about maybe 10 years ago. You're out, I think, on the beach sitting on a log.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
We can bring you a copy if you don't have a copy. I'll make you
I
one.
don't have a copy.
I'll
I'd
make
like
you
to
one.
see it.
It's funny, from years back.
Yeah.
And other stories taught morals like how to properly behave towards human beings or towards animals, how to properly collect food without offending animal spirits that were offering themselves to you for you to go on. Was there anything else that stories taught like that?
Oh, we went through all the other things like that. And women's were the main part long time ago. They were to behave, and the brothers, they couldn't talk to their brothers the way they do now, or to their uncles. They had to behave and learn to be ladies. They were kept separate all the time. And when they go out on a boat with the brothers, they couldn't talk to their brothers. So they would be a good luck, they kept quiet, and they used to do it too, I guess. Not during my time, that's way before you do that. There's so many things. Yeah, what Annabelle and her husband said is true. They learn things from that. And each clan an uncle would know everything too. In the older days, the uncle did all the training for the boys, and the girls, the mothers did, or the aunt, either one. But it was always up to the one that trained. But the women, the mothers trained their own girls. So that didn't happen in my time. But my dad used to tell stories about it, so I know that they did that.
Do you want to tell us one story, a couple of stories, or whatever you want?
There's a story I like. It's published. I like.
About what?
Dakju is the name of the boy. He was well trained. In the olden days, a chief was allowed two wives. One was an elder, not too much of an elder, but and the other one a very young girl. And the chief's duty was to take care of the two. And it was more of a training for the younger girl, and it was something that all the chiefs did. And the aunt would tell the boys the training they went through. They didn't train every day during the winter. They trained when there was going to be something happening, like they were going to go out after sea lions. I don't think a lot of children nowadays know what sea lions look like. But anyway, when this story goes where they were going to go out looking for sea lions for the winter, and the uncle decided to train the boys. Every morning, they always said before the raven called, you had to get up. William Paul, he was one of the lawyers, figured that before the raven call is around 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, during our time. That's how they used to figure. The uncle would go out, get the boys up. They come out of a big house every morning before the raven called, and they would go into the water. They were dressed for it. They'd go out in the cold water, salt water, and stay in the salt water till the uncle thought it was right time for them to come out. Then they'd come out and wrestle spruce leaves, and he'd hit their legs with it. If it bled, then he'd send them into the water to wash down. That was just to tell the boys that they had to endure pain. That was the reason why they did that. Every day when they were training, they were done. It was done like that. And then they would race on the beach. They'd race all morning. And then just before the raven called, they all went home to their wherever house they come from. And they'd sit around by the fire. Their mother would wait for them. They'd ready to eat breakfast. In the olden days, those dish I showed you, that's what they used to use, red cedar bowls or plates they'd make, and that would be ready. And the most interesting part of the stories used to be in the olden days that everybody owned potato fields, and they never did find out how the Indians had potatoes, but they always had potatoes. And the mother, during the evening, they would have a sandbag one place, a good sized sandbag for the family. Evening, the mothers would wash their potatoes, and then they bury by section. Each family had their own section. So they leave it overnight. So for breakfast, they would either have dried fish or boiled fish or whatever, meat, whatever they had. But they always had potatoes. It was roasted in that sand. They said that was really something to, they had hook and grease to go with it too. So that kept the boys well. After they ate their breakfast, the bigger boys would go out and pick up wood. They'd go out on a canoe. And the ones that were home would pack all the wood into the big house. And the rest of them, he'd divide all his boys, and then some would be carrying water for their mothers. They'd do their work. In the afternoon, they were allowed to play whatever they used to do. And they enjoyed that kind of life. And that's the kind of training the boys had. And the girls would be home with their mothers, making baskets or tanning furs. They did a lot and the girls learned to cook. They learned how to dry fish. They know how to cut fish. They were very good at that. And deer meat of all kinds, things, dry meat. So they weren't hungry during the winter. Everybody put up their own food. And things were done by seasonal, like when it's time for seaweed. In the month of March, they call it the winter seaweed. They pick that. They dry that in the house. And that's the sweet tasting seaweed. And then in the month of May, they do the regular seaweed, the black seaweed. And the red seaweed is done in May. So they were pretty busy, the boys and the girls, seaweed. So there's enough put up for the winter. And after the boys' training, after they're trained a while, the uncle would say, today we're going to find out if we have strength enough to go on a canoe. So he'd tell them what he's going to do. And you see there's three trees standing beside the house there. I'm going to loosen one. If I loosen one, we know we'll all be strong enough to go out on a canoe. So he tells them the way we're going to carry the canoes down. He said they turn the canoes upside down, and each boy that's going to paddle hold the canoe upside down over their head, and they're 10 in a row there carrying the canoe over their head. That's how they used to carry. They were so careful with their canoes, don't think we're ready. So they tried a few more days. The third day, he tried again. And one came loose, and he said, now we're just about ready. In the meantime, Dakju, the nephew, the aunt was training him. She didn't let nobody know. They used to call him lazy. They said he didn't try to help himself. He didn't try to train. He didn't know he was training by himself. And when the time came, his aunt said, Dakju, tomorrow the boys and your uncle are going for sea lion. You are going to go, and tomorrow you are going to put on clean clothes, and you'll have to tie your head with a cloth tied up. The strings were made out of cedar branches, and they tied their head up with it, and they tied their shirt down. Said when you were going on a trip, you have to be tied up around you, so you know that you are out to defend people. They got ready. Next day, the Jews woke up and he could see the boys were carrying canoes into the water. So he got up and told his aunt to get the clean clothes for him. They dressed him up. And the canoe was ready to go. They each one had to bring their own lunch. The uncle told them we are going to travel for days and days and days. We have to take a lot of lunch. Everybody take care of your own lunch. So they're all getting ready, and the Jews was still in the house where their canoes were ready to be pulled out. The one his uncle was sitting on was just going to be pushed out when he come running down, and he grabbed the canoe and pulled it in. When he pulled the canoe in, he jumped aboard the first tree that was there. He jumped on, broke to pieces. Right away, the uncle knew what was happening, that the boy had been training. So they said, talk to him. He said, you sit right below me. He was the one that steered the boat. Said, you go and bail the water out of the boat when we're going to travel. You sit below me, he told his nephew. That's what he was doing, and they went for days. When they landed to have lunch or when they went for the night, they would take the canoe over their head and pack it up to a safe place and turn it over, and they slept under the canoe because they were afraid of enemies. There was always enemies around. And next day they'd be on their way. It kept on for days. Finally, they spotted the sea lion rock. Most people say it was at Forster Island because that's a rough place there. When they got there, the canoe, the waves were so big, he said, we're going to count the waves. We jump on the third wave, we tell them. He said, nobody can move from the boat. I'm going to kill that big cow first before I'll let you off. Then you can kill all you want. So we counted 3 big waves, and he jumped on the third. Instead of jumping by the rock below, he jumped way up right to the big elephant. Before he knew what happened, that the big sea lion grabbed him and threw him way up in the air. And he came back down and crashed to pieces on the big rocks. And the nephew was on the one of the canoe. He did get scared, but he stopped the boys. The boys got scared. They were going to roll away. He told them, wait, I'm going up and kill that cow. That killed my uncle. So he jumped. When that third wave, he jumped. And he killed that big cow. And the boys got scared and they all rode away from him. They were afraid of him now, afraid of the truth, so they left. And he didn't know what he was going to do. There were the boat, big waves there. So he decided always, a young boy always wore around his neck so as to sharpen knife with its stone. And he always had a knife. He started to skin that big sea lion. He did that for days, and then he got it all done, and he turned it inside out. And he always wants sea lions when they come out of the water. He said they make short chunks like that. He said there must be some reasons why they do that. That's what he thought. Dakjúuhl was doing all this, and he thought, well, I'll pick up one of the big rocks and put it inside of the coat. And when he jumped into the water, sure enough, he went down with it, and it would come up. He started, he was going to his homeland, his home village. He started for days and days. He was. In the meantime, that aunt, the older aunt, would sit down the beach and cry. She'd cry. She'd sing and cry every day. She was crying. One day she spotted a sea lion coming towards them. She called her husband over. He was old then. Come and see what I see. And she come out and they saw the sea lion. It would go down there. And she said, that's that Dakjúuhl coming home. Dakjúuhl is coming home. And alerted the whole village. Everybody went down the beach, and sure enough, it was him. He took that, when he come ashore, his aunt took him out of that, unlaced him, and he came out. Right away, the uncle said, he's going to give his young wife to him, because the other uncle said they were going to give the young wife to him. No, he don't want the young wife. He wants the older wife. So he chose the old wife. So that was the end. You know, our Haida stories never end. So he chose the elder.
I see it right now.
Now it's
Gotta
filming.
press it with your thumb.
Scariness part, the happy part, the funny part.
Want me to play it now?
It makes me kind of feel like, wow. Well, if there's anything, maybe we should put one more thing. Is there any advice that you have to give these?
Were you pressing the button?
You can turn it off.
You
Clara's home, and I'm going to film some of the beautiful things on her wall.
I think Darren just wants your girls to work on it.
That little sound you hear are the kids putting the Jenga game away. This is what kids the coolest old-fashioned like an awl or an adze. That's what it's called. And I don't know. I think this might be such. Dude, this thing is really great. Is it working?
I can't get this thing to even turn down.
Pause. What did you change?
I know. Hello. Going now. Solid red light.